Let's try that again. We were muted. Here we go. Welcome. Welcome to KPC. Thanks for joining us online and in person. We're so happy to have you here. So before we begin, we always want to establish our motivation or intention for being here, for doing meditation together. So we want to generate that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering, wishing that all beings are happy, and that what we do today, the virtue of our practice here today, that benefits all beings. So let's take a moment to establish that in our minds. Okay. So we'll start with the 3 7-line prayer to begin, open our practice. I'll put it up on the screen now. We'll chant it 3 times in Tibetan. Organ yugi nu chamsam, pemange sa dompola, yasan shogi nu drumne, pemajung ne she sudra, kodu kandrom mampokor, keki jesu dag druki, jinji lok shir sheksu sol, Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nujam Sam Pema Ge Sa Dompola Yasan Shogi No Drubne Pema Jung Ne She Sudra Kodu Kandrom Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Drupki Chinchilok Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pemange Sardompola Yasan Shogi Nundrumne Pema Jung Ne She Sudra Koru Kandrom Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Druki Jinjelok Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. All right, so we will be doing 2 different types of meditation in this class, like we've been doing for several weeks now. So we will be doing Shamatha meditation to stabilize our minds, and then also do a practice to open our heart. So the first meditation we're doing today is the Shamatha meditation. So we'll start with that. Thank you. So meditation is the natural state of our mind when it's relaxed and stable and open. It trains our mind to be this way, and it also trains our mind to be alert and wakeful. So the whole point of meditation is to create more spaciousness in our mind so that we become less reactive, so that we don't become overly emotional, or we're able to balance our emotions. So when our emotions come up, we can deal with those emotions with a calm mind. So it can affect every aspect of our life. When we have more stability and spacious in our minds, then we react with more spaciousness and stability. So and just like a muscle, like using our muscles to keep our bodies strong. It's a muscle that we can work and we can get better and better at it. So sometimes when we first start meditation, we might feel like our mind is really agitated or busy or even inflamed with thoughts. Sometimes we don't even know how many thoughts are there constantly running until we're sitting quietly, and then we can hear all the thoughts. So this meditation brings awareness to our minds. And meditation is also the first step in developing bodhicitta, which is that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. The union of wisdom and compassion. And if our minds are so inflamed, if they're so busy, if they're so reactive and emotional, it's hard for us to think about anyone else. It's hard for us to think about how we might benefit other beings or think about how we might help alleviate the suffering of other beings. So it's very important to develop this stability and spaciousness of mind. So we'll just get in our meditation posture with a straight back, straight spine, whether you're in a chair or a seat. And then the traditional hand posture is right hand over left with your thumbs touching in your lap. We have our shoulders back and our elbows back. And our spine is lifted, but we're not overly rigid. Everything is relaxed. And we are gazing down towards the floor, almost like a line from the bridge of our nose extending out, and picking a point on that line to rest our gaze. And we're just breathing naturally. So we're not counting our breath with this meditation. We're just breathing as naturally as possible. It might take a few deep breaths to get to that natural rhythm of your breath. So maybe a few deep breaths. And we're actually going to keep the mouth like ever so slightly open. So just like the lips are open a little bit, and we do this, that air is able to come through the mouth in that way. We can do this by putting the tip of our tongue in the back of our front teeth like we're saying the letter L. Just keeping it ever so slightly open. And as we're looking down towards the floor, again, our central focus is on the breath. So as our thoughts arise, which they will, and it's okay if they do, as thoughts arise, we just gently turn our attention back to our breath. So we say, okay, thank you very much. I'm returning to the breath. So we're gently bringing ourselves back to the breath again and again and again. And, you know, when our thoughts arise, it's not like our meditation is lost when our thoughts arise. It's when we go down the road with them and inspect them and judge them and say, oh, I'm thinking too many thoughts now. Oh my gosh, my brain is so busy today. I'm feeling, you know, crazy, or I'm remembering my to-do list, or all those thoughts that can rush in. We just want to cut that and come back, just drop it and come back to the breath again and again. We can even imagine cutting the thoughts or throwing the thoughts out, whatever can help us return to the breath. And when we return to that breath, the attention on the breath is a very light attention. So we're not thinking, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. It's a light attention. So your attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of your breath. So with that, we will try a warm-up round. Just one second. All right, we're good now. I'm going to set my timer, and we're going to just do a warm-up. So we'll do just 3 minutes. And we'll see how we do. Again, our attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of our breath. Start now.
All right. So we're going to try that again. This time we'll just do it a little bit longer. Hi. And so we'll just do a little bit longer. And again, just to quickly go over it, just a straight spine, our hands in our lap, right over left, and our shoulders and elbows back. And again, for this meditation, we're focusing on the breath. So whenever our thoughts run wild, we just keep bringing our attention back to the breath again and again. Our attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of our breath. So with this, we're just gazing down towards the floor with our eyes open, breathing naturally, the little space, breathing through the mouth as well. We can do that by putting the tip of our tongue in the back of our teeth, like we're saying the letter L. So just a little bit of space there. Breathing naturally. And again, returning to the breath. Every time we have a thought, we just bring our attention back to the breath. So we will do this for a little bit longer now before we move on to our next meditation, our Tonglen meditation. Okay, so here's my timer.
All right. So now that we're feeling a little more stable within our minds, we'll do a practice that really helps develop our hearts. This is the practice of Tonglen, or giving and receiving. And Tonglen is done to help us develop our compassion and our ability to be present for our own suffering and the suffering of others. So this practice trains us in the energy of loving kindness and opens our heart to the suffering, to suffering, and really helps us transform it into well-being. So in this practice, we actually imagine that we are taking the suffering of others into ourselves and sending them out all of our happiness. And in the immediate present, this is just a mental exercise. It won't remove their suffering by doing this, but gradually, as we do this practice, it helps us to uh, cherish ourselves less over others. So, chipping away at that tight self-importance and selfishness, and it really helps us develop a stronger wish to benefit others, and it helps us to look at all beings with equanimity. So to see all beings as equal, see all beings as trying to be happy, and really wishing that we can relieve the suffering of all beings. So this practice, again, just opens our hearts in that way. So with this, we're going to also just stay in our meditation posture. And we're going to imagine one or two beings. You can, imagine one and then switch to another, or, two beings. These can be like a parent or a, sibling, or a child, a pet. This is someone, I want you to imagine someone who you have a deep love for. And this is someone who compassion wells up easily in your heart when you think of this person. And this person also, if you imagine that this person was suffering in any way, it would upset you. Their suffering particularly touches your heart. So I want you to imagine them in front of you, and you're really going to imagine what would it be like to step in their shoes and be in their place and experience the suffering that they're experiencing, whatever it is, whatever kind of suffering or sadness or whatever they may be going through, or whatever they might. So in your heart, you're cultivating a fervent wish to relieve their suffering and to secure their happiness. So with that, we're following the natural rhythm of our breath. So as we breathe in, we're going to visualize that we are taking all of that suffering. We're inhaling through the nose. We're taking in all of that suffering, all the causes and conditions of their suffering. We're taking in as like a dark smoke. And we're imagining that while we're doing this, they're becoming completely free of all their suffering, completely free of all their misery, all their sadness. And then as you breathe out, as we exhale, we're imagining that we're sending them all of our positive and loving qualities, all innumerable causes of happiness, and all of our joy. And we're imagining this as a radiant, pure light. So, and you see them experiencing this as like limitless joy. So they're receiving that. So you might think, as you breathe in, may I relieve you from suffering, or may you be free from suffering. And then as you breathe out, may you be happy. So we're going to do this for a few minutes. And again, someone for whom you have just love and compassion towards, and you want to take all their suffering away. Okay, try this for 3 minutes. All right. So now we're going to repeat this exercise, but we're going to imagine someone for whom you feel intense anger or aversion or upset towards. And this is where it's a little bit harder to do. But again, this practice chips away at our heart and chips away at that idea of who deserves our love and compassion and who doesn't. So if we're imagining, may all beings be free of suffering, except for this guy or that, we can't, we can't really do that. If we're imagining all beings in front of us, like all beings, may they be free. We have to imagine right in front the people that upset us, that annoy us, that, have hurt us in some way. So again, this might be harder to do, but if we want to work on our, this feeling of equanimity and love for all beings, we have to go right to the heart of where it's hardest to give our love, cut right through that. So we're going to try this and do your best. And, you might think too, well, this person doesn't deserve my love. Again, this idea of they don't deserve it because maybe they hurt you in some way. But we can also still, even if there's someone that's hurting other people, we can still recognize that all beings are trying to be happy. And whether they know how to do that or not, whether they're hurting people in the process, whether they're very confused about what that looks like and how that works, we can have compassion for them. Oh man, what confusion, or wow, they're doing all these things to harm themselves and others. Like, how terrible for them that they're creating these causes of unhappiness for themselves and others. So even in that moment, even in that thought, we can start to have a spark of compassion for others, even the ones we don't want to have any compassion towards. So that's what this part of Tonglen is about. So imagining, again, one or two people, in front of us, and trying to, again, breathe in all of their suffering, everything, all of it as this like dark smoke, and then giving them all of our causes of happiness as this bright light, and that it nurtures them and that they're happy. So imagining if this person was truly happy, what would that person be like? So you're giving them that, all of your happiness, all of your joy. So we'll try this for a few minutes and see how you do. It gets easier as you do this more and more. Okay. All right. You can come in. You can come in. People see us sitting here and they don't want to come inside. All right. So we're going to increase the scope of our meditation. So we're going to try to include a larger group of people, maybe that we have frustration towards or upset. This could be anyone in your life, or so. Also, I do want to mention that Tonglen doesn't always have to be formal like this, where we're sitting on a cushion and imagining someone in front of us. We can use Tonglen in real life situations. Maybe there's someone really upset right in front of us telling us something, or maybe they're upset at us. they're angry at us, we can actually, in that moment, imagine we're breathing in all that upset, all that anger, all that suffering that that person's experiencing, taking it on and sending them love and happiness right in that moment. I did this recently for someone who was like telling me something, and they were very afraid and anxious about something. And I feel as though in that practice, we were both able to calm down in that moment by doing Tonglen right there on the spot. So you can use this in a really practical way throughout your day, while you're waiting in line, while you're at a doctor's office, in any way. You can use this. Or if you're with there's a big crowd or something, maybe you're at a big gathering, imagining that you're taking on the suffering of everyone there and sending them, like you're like a beam of light, sending out all your love and compassion and joy to them. So again, we're going to wrap up with just imagining a larger group of people now that we feel aversion or anger or upset towards. And we're going to do this just for one more minute before we wrap up. Starting now. All right. So again, Tonglen really teaches us to expand our capacity for love and compassion for all beings, chipping away at our self-centeredness, chipping away at who we feel deserves our love or not. And as we continue this practice, we really get a sense that we can expand this out to all beings, truly out to all beings. And that's the point of the practice, is to embrace all beings throughout existence. So if you're interested, we actually tomorrow at 11:30 here in person and also online, Atira Zioli did a 6-week class on digging deeper into Tonglen. And actually tomorrow we'll be doing a bonus Tonglen class. And that class specifically will have the title of the class here. I wanted to bring it up because I think it's so applicable in these times we're living in. So the class tomorrow specifically will be learning how to work with strong negative emotions through compassion. So that is tomorrow's class at 11:30. And then after tomorrow's class, the following week, our resident Kempo Karze will be teaching his regular teaching schedule at 11:30, teaching meditation and a teaching as well, with Q&A and a short Chinrezi practice. So please join us tomorrow for Atira's class and the following Sunday for Kempo's. So we are going to wrap up today with the light expansion prayer written by our teacher Jetsunma Akon Lamo. And again, this is sending out that light and compassion to all beings. So I'm going to just read this aloud. It's a guided meditation, so you can just listen. Let us become still. Take a deep breath. And let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And all the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. So with that, we will do our dedication prayers. So this is really sealing in the merit, the virtue of our practice here today and dedicating it for the benefit of all beings. Do you mind passing one of the dedications back there? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, in that folder is on the back side. And I'll put it up on the screen. Thank you. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences as to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have. Similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you everyone online. We do this meditation practice every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time here in the room and online. And then again, please join us tomorrow for a deeper dive into Tonglen and dealing with negative emotions through compassion. And that will be with Atira Zioli tomorrow at 11:30. It's streaming online as well. And then again, our following week, we'll have our resident Kempo Karze will be back teaching through Jetsunma's blessing. He's here teaching every Sunday. So that will be at 11:30 the following Sunday. So thank you so much. And I'm going to end the live stream now.